Education Minister Priya Manik Chan on Wednesday reminded reporters that Budget 2023 caters for several dorms and schools in Regions 1, 7, and 9 to be fixed and that the procurement process is ongoing. Her remarks come on the heels of a damning report compiled by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF last year, which identified a series of deficiencies at 24 school dormitories across the country, but none of them were fixed, nor were the recommendations implemented.
I can tell you that certain measures are being taken across dorms right now and schools right now that should make them a little bit safer, including personnel. Because, like I said, I don't want to add to the speculation, but at the end of the day, you have human beings manning a system. And so you could have a perfect system with a human being who doesn't execute perfectly. And that's not to say that I'm not speaking on any specific issue. And then you could still end up with all kinds of issues. So we have to do it together. Infrastructural needs being met, as well as the human beings who manage those facilities being fully trained.
She did not provide details on exactly what these measures are. A total of 20 children, 19 girls, and a 5-year-old boy died in the horrific fire, which occurred on May 21st in the remote Region 8 community. 19 of them were burnt to death, while the 20th victim succumbed to her injuries at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Several girls are still nursing injuries as well. The children were trapped inside the heavily grilled dormitory, and the doors were keyed. The house mother could not locate the keys in time as the fire quickly ripped through the building. Even though the fire was deliberately set by another student, the government came in for heavy criticism for not having any safety measures in place at the dorms. It was subsequently revealed by the Starbreak News that UNICEF assessment of all 24 dormitories across the country last year highlighted a series of deficiencies and submitted the report to the Ministry of Education. According to the Starbreak News, the report of recommendations had a section dedicated to fire protection systems, including that smoke detectors be installed and that drills are conducted regularly. When asked on Wednesday why the plethora of recommendations by UNICEF were not implemented, the education minister highlighted that the report was given to the relevant authorities, since schools and dorms outside of Georgetown are not within her jurisdiction. Manik Chan clarified that the assessment by UNICEF was commissioned by her ministry when she assumed office because she wanted to have a clear understanding of the weaknesses and gaps in the various learning institutions across the country. She also reminded reporters that these dorms are managed by the local government organs and not the Ministry of Education.
If we commissioned a report, knowing fully well that we have no responsibility nor jurisdiction in the local governance structure or in those facilities, then I think you could surmise two clear things. One, that we wanted to learn what were some of the weaknesses and gaps in the various facilities that existed forever, including under the APNU, who now have conversations about these issues, which structure existed for a while. We wanted to learn what those problems were so that we could fix them. And two, that if I knew from the beginning that I couldn't fix them, that I would have shared it with whoever it needed to go to. And we are maintaining that we did.
She explained that consideration was not given to closing dorms or schools in order to fix the issues identified because the major learning loss and dropouts Ghana was grappling with as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
When you take children out of school, especially in those communities, and by those communities I mean communities that have homes that are far from each other and far from a center, getting them back into school is a really hard thing. So the world said after the 2020 COVID closure, the world was very clear that one of the things we would suffer, two things they were certain, all the studies show we would suffer: early school leaving, what we call in Guyana dropouts, and learning loss. Having come out of that period where we are experiencing both as a country with the rest of the world, it was to say close as we fix is a hard thing for us educationally, because we will lose students to the system, to education. I mean, we say these things abstractly. We'll lose students to education.
She believes that the Commission of Inquiry to investigate the causes and circumstances of the fire and to inquire into related issues is the best way to move forward. Reporting for the newsroom, Fariza Hanif.